Film you might want to watch. It's a British-made gangster film. It's pretty good. It flopped at the box office originally, but it now has a cult following, especially among film students. Here, it's Get Carter, 1971. There's an American version with Sylvester Stallone. I haven't seen it. I don't know. But anyway, this one stars Michael Caine. I'm going to explain some of the film because for the American ear, that the accent, I don't know what British working class accent, East England, I don't know what it is, but a little difficult to follow. And so I'm going to give you a highlight of the film so you can follow it. Watch it till the end. I guarantee you won't be let down. Anyway, it stars Michael Caine, as I said. He plays Jack Carter, Get Carter. He's a gangster with a London gang that's supposed to be something like the Cray brothers. In this case, the brothers are called Gerald and Sid Fletcher. Carter is having an affair with Gerald's girlfriend, and he and the girl plan to slip off to South America. But just as they're about to do it, Carter gets a call. His brother Frank has died, so he has to travel back to Newcastle, which I think is in northeast England, where he's originally from. Before he goes, the bosses they warn him, look, don't cause any trouble up there with the gangsters. We do business, just go to the funeral, come back. When Carter gets to Newcastle, everyone is telling him that his brother died in a drunk driving accident, but Carter, you don't believe it. His brother was not that irresponsible. Excuse me. No one actually saw the accident. No one saw the body. No one saw the car. He doesn't get this. He just doesn't believe the story. His old friend Eric is avoiding him, and he can't understand why Eric's a lowlife and the gang's up there. Jack's daughter, Carter's niece, is Doreen. It turns out that she was duped into making a porn flick with another of his boyhood friends, Albert Swift. The others in the porn film are the woman he's with, called Glinda. She's a mobbed up regular, but she's also a hopeless drunk. And the third woman in the film is Margaret, his brother's mistress, who was also, putting Carter off. She wouldn't talk to him. You'll meet Albert Swift and Margaret at the top of the film. Uh, you'll notice when you meet them that neither of them they get nervous when Carter's around. They're nervous because they know why Frank died. His brother Frank died. They know a lot of other stuff too. So anyway, Carter has sex with Glinda in her apartment, and he stumbles across a porn film, and she says, "Oh, I'll show it to you." And she puts it on for him. She goes in and takes a bath, not realizing that Doreen is his niece. So he watches his niece in this sex film. He gets enraged. He goes in. He finds Glinda. He dunks her down in the water in the tub. She starts to talk. She says, "Look, I don't know nothing about it. All I can tell you is the film was financed by Sale Kinnear, the local mob guy." And she learns that it was Kinnear who ordered, in her opinion, who ordered brother murdered. But Carter kind of already suspects that. So he goes, and then he learns also that his friend Eric somehow forced Doreen into making the film. The location, when you'll see Cyril Kinnear's house, it's a big, beautiful home with a gate and all that. He follows the chauffeur there. It's called Dryendale Hall. It actually was the house of Vance Landa, who was a gangster. He fled the country in 1969 after the murder of his right-hand man, Angus Siebert, the so-called one-armed bandit murder. The murder may have been part of a failed attempt by the Cray twins to gain control of Newcastle, Newcastle's underworld. I don't know. I don't know about such things. That's what I read. So anyway, Carter tosses Glinda, by the way, in the trunk of his car. It's easy to miss this party. Then the car gets bumped by the other gangsters into the ocean from a dock, and she's in the trunk, and she drowns. Nobody says anything. Carter just looks at it with no expression. Like, well, that's the end of her. But it's a point you could miss. You do have to watch to see. Carter's bosses, they get wind, the bosses down in London, they get wind that Carter's causing a lot of trouble up in Newcastle. They send two torpedoes, Con McCarthy and Peter the Dutchman, to bring Carter back to London, but Carter won't go. And so there's all kinds of problems there. Then he learns that a man named Brumby has put out a contract to kill him. Carter learns that. And that Brumby is a businessman. He has a controlling interest in an amusement park. And here's how you know what's going on. He is building a new restaurant at the top of a parking garage, a big cement, like the kind they'd have in the midtowns, that sort of thing. So anyway, he gets him. Bromby says, "Look, yeah, Kinnear was behind your Frank's death. I was never able to figure out that's true. I don't know who was actually behind Frank's death. It was either Kinnear or Brumby, and that Kinnear is trying to take over his businesses. And he says, I'll give you, $10,000 whatever if you go and kill Kinnear. But Carter says no, he doesn't want that kind of problems because he wants to go back to London, get his girlfriend, and take off. Then he finds out that the bosses back in London have learned that he's having an affair with his girlfriend, and he orders the men up there, the two guys, Khan and the Dutchman, to murder Carter. So that's happening. In the meantime, Kinnear's guys are trying to kill him as well. Carter eventually kills Brumby. Brumby is the guy that is building a restaurant in the parking garage. And he sends the film. Carter then sends the porn film to the police. He calls Kinnear, though, and he says, look, even though he sent the film, he says, look, I tell you what, I won't send the original of the film to the police. It has your fingerprints all over it. Give me Eric, that's his best friend who put his niece into this film, and I'll be quiet. I'll go back to London and leave you alone. So I won't tell you what happens from there, but anyway, you'll figure it out. So now you know what's going on. A large number of extras in the film, if not all the extras, were Newcastle locals, and some of the people who had speaking parts of Newcastle locals. Keane changed Carter's depiction in the script. In the book, there's a lot. Can be pleasant, and so he changes him into a more cold, hard-edged guy, a gangster, which is closer, he felt, to some parts of the book that may have been chopped out. The film, this is a revenge tragedy. The landscape, if you look at it, was chosen on purpose. It depicts a hard way of life, a deprived way of life. Many of the buildings of the film, including, pay attention to the massive cement parking garage. That example is brutalist in design. And the director wanted to match the cinematography to Carter's personality and to this whole story. It's a brutal story. So I hope you enjoy it. Thanks.
One day, a professional killer went home to visit his family and found his brother murdered.
Now, who killed him?
I don't know nothing.
And listen, the only reason I came back to this crap house was to find out who did it. And I'm not leaving till I do.
Michael Caine is Carter, a man with unbridled hate.
Do you want to be dead, Albert?
For Christ's sake!
You knew what I'd do, didn't you, Albert?
Listen, Christ, I didn't kill him. I know you didn't.
When a professional killer hates, he turns animal. And there becomes but one law in the underworld jungle. Get Carter. Get Carter. Before Carter gets you.
Don't let us interrupt you. Now,
Don't you think you ought to get dressed first? Come on, Jack, put it away. You know you won't use it.
the gun he means. Out.
Carter, the heated killer, the cool lover. Carter, a man of few words, a man of decisive action.
I've come for you, Margaret. Take your clothes off.
Few words, decisive action. Hate drives the hunter.
No!
Fear pursues the hunted.
They'd have killed me! They killed my brother instead!
Carter, spreading terror with an uncontrolled trigger. Carter was a killer by profession. Now he is a killer by instinct. Michael Caine is Carter. Get Carter before Carter gets you.